Hey, good afternoon. This is Coach Bill with Weight Loss Made Easy. Hope you guys are having a great, what is today? Friday today. Today is our day of doing a prolonged fast, Emily and I, which is what we're going to do today. And I'm having my coffee, as you can see here, as part of my fasting. Because what we do we're going to be doing a true 23-1 fasting today, which means I haven't had any calories for by 5 o'clock tonight. I won't have any calories for approximately 23 hours, and then it's called what we call a 23-1. And then I have a 1 hour window where I'll actually eat food. I'll break my fast with kefir, homemade kefir, and a veggie protein powder. And then I'll have my main meal probably an hour later tonight. I'm going to most likely have a really good colorful salad with chicken in it and some good dietary fat, olive oil and MCT oil. And so those of you that follow me know that Emily and I educate people on nutrition. We do what we call a primal eating, which you guys know is a ketogenic diet. We combine it with intermittent and prolonged fasting, and we also drink hydrogen-rich water as well to hydrate us, and to, especially when we're doing prolonged fasting, hydration is very, very important because your kidney are flushing out more water while you're fasting, and you're losing a lot of electrolytes through that. And hydrogen-rich water has a lot of great electrolytes in it. Plus, we combine it with sea salt. So we do sea salt throughout the day as well to add more electrolytes. And what's really cool about using the sea salt with the hydrogen-rich water, it depresses our appetite. So those of you that may be just starting out at doing intermittent fasting, you guys might want to start using a good healthy pink Himalayan sea salt to replace your electrolytes, because it actually will control the hormone that is causing you to go through a hunger wave when you're fasting. You control that hormone, then you're going to be successful throughout your fasting, because we know, you guys that follow me know that when we're doing the longer fasting, or even when we're doing 18 or 20-hour fastings, we're trying to dip into our own body fat and burn as energy. We're not trying, we're staying away from the fat from the foods as we eat food as energy. We want to burn our own, because that's the whole idea of keeping lean. Okay, well guys, today I want to talk something about, it looks like in the last few years, I've been working with a lot of type 2 diabetics. I've been working with a lot of people that have a fatty liver, which is a precursor to type 2 diabetes. And both type 2 diabetes and a fatty liver contributes to obesity or being overweight. Those of you that are 40 plus, you know how difficult it is to lose that body fat. And the main reason for that is imbalance of certain hormones, that, especially one that is designed to help you, or designed to store fat, and that's insulin. And those of you that have type 2 diabetes, and if your doctor did his job and explained to you why you have type 2 diabetes or why you have a fatty liver, is basically because you're insulin resistance, which means that your glucose, your blood sugar levels are way too high, and doctors now know that type 2 diabetes is caused by high carbohydrates, high refined carbs or complex carbs, or a high amount of carbohydrates which is converted into sugar. Sugar is the root cause to type 2 diabetes and a fatty liver. So you've got to get control of a hormone that is out of control, which is insulin. And insulin is produced by the pancreas, which is causing you guys to be type 2 diabetic. So you've got to do what? You've got to control that. And so that's what Emily and I do, is we teach people. We've been, in the last few years, I've been working with quite a few diabetics now. and people with fatty livers, and getting them on a good nutritional program. And I'm following science. And there's a particular doctors that are doing this successfully. One in particular who is now have written a few books now, and is being promoted by universities and other research sites for his research on this for decades, and he has proven that by changing the type of food you're eating and the time you eat it, also by changing the type of water you're drinking, you're going to control the hormone that's causing you guys to be overweight or causing type 2 diabetes or your blood sugars being too high. Now, I just saw something from the CDC that I guess 30 million people here in the United States have type 2 diabetes, which that doesn't even include those that are called what they call pre-diabetics. Now, from all my research I've been doing these last few years, and now with the most recent ones that I've got a hold of, I actually purchased a research book that's fairly new. That's got lots and lots of new scientific case studies. Now, these are real case studies. These aren't blogs. These are actual published case studies by very high regarded research universities. All these researchers that have been doing these particular studies on reversing type 2 diabetes naturally by changing just the food. And so now research is showing that the medication you guys are taking, that your doctors are giving you, will never reverse type 2 diabetes or reverse fatty liver, because it's diet initiated. Your diet is what's causing it. It's not, and the medication isn't going to do any good. And research knows this now. But I wanted to come on here today because I did get some new research that's pretty exciting. It's been working. I mean, they've been doing. It has been gone through for 10 months now. And what that research is showing is what they did in this in the Journal of British Medical Journal, or the British Medical Journal, is the one that I think that's the short term is the BMJ case report. What they did was they took 3 men. Okay, and I'm going to kind of read you how the research went. And it's not coming from me, it's actually coming from them. Now, guys, I want to make sure that you understand I'm not a doctor. I've been in the health industry for over 40 years. I've been a nutrition specialist for 40 years, strength and conditioning coach for 40 years. Prior owner of one of the largest gyms in our valley. And Emily and I have been researchers for quite a few years now on health. And so we've got a lot of experience under our belts, but the biggest experience I think out there is doing our own research on our own clients. And you've heard me say this before: blood tests don't lie. So when it comes to type 2 diabetes and reversing it and getting the blood sugar down to a healthy level below 100 consistently, the blood test shows the actual facts. Blood tests don't lie. So when I get somebody who's a health professional or even a doctor who says that you change someone's diet isn't going to work, you can't. I mean, how can they deny it when I actually have proof by the blood test? And besides, it's not me anyway. It's many doctors out there that are proving it also, and many researchers. I mean, there's hundreds and hundreds of them now. But anyway, on this particular research, what made it very exciting was they took three men, okay, and the men were between the ages of 40 and 67, who did occasionally fasting for approximately 10 months. So they weren't really doing a full-on protocol that we teach. They were doing an occasional one. They were doing more of an intermittent fasting. I think it was more like a 16-8 fasting, 3 or 4 times a week. But they did lower their carbs down to very low carbs, higher dietary fat and kept the protein moderate. Okay, and so what I did, and you guys know that when I do come on here and I talk about this, about our protocols, I always like to back it with science. So in Google, this is what I found in Google. It says a new about this particular study. It says a new study involving 3 men concluded that occasional, so you don't have to go crazy on the fasting. Yes, if you really want the results and to reverse type 2 diabetes, most likely you guys have some stage of fatty liver along with it. You should go into more of a specific program with a nutritionist or with a coach that knows, has experience in reversing type 2 diabetes and reversing fatty livers. Now guys, all this reversing type 2 diabetes and a fatty liver, the byproduct is always going to be you're going to lose body fat. That's just how it works. So you don't even have to worry about your weight. Don't even worry about it. Don't even get on the scale. Just monitor your body fat losing by the clothes, how they fit. But by changing the way you eat, the time you eat, and the water you drink with the protocols that we teach, that's a byproduct. You're going to lose the weight no matter what. Just think about this. If you're not eating any calories for a certain amount of time, 16-8, 18-8, or 20, or whatever we put you on, then you're going to be burning body fat because your body needs nutrition or food in order to operate throughout the day. Well, if you're not putting any calories in for a certain amount of time, the body has to go after what? You've heard me talk about this so many times. It has to go after your own body fat, and that's exactly what we're trying to do. And so when you're a type 2 diabetic and you're on medication and your blood sugars are in the 150s or 160s consistently every day, then when you eat it jumps up into 2s and the 3s, that just says you have a lot of sugar in your blood. And how are you going to get rid of all that sugar? Pretty simple, very simple actually. You just simply stop eating. Okay, that way you're not putting any more food in your body. So you're not converting it into what? Glucose, which is sugar, and your pancreas isn't going to be producing any more insulin to shove it into the cells. And so, like I said, I hope your doctors explain to you how insulin works and how glucose works, and and why you have type 2 diabetes, because you're insulin resistant. Your cells are just way overloaded with sugar, and that's going to cause issue in the long run. Now, I put together a blog post here, like I do all the time. And this video will be with it. But the blog post I put together here about this video I'm talking about today will be more specific. I'm not going to get into a lot of it today on this video, because I would rather have you go and click onto that blog post, because it'll be more specific with the actual research there. So like I said, the Google says a new study involving 3 men concluded that occasional fasting could help reverse type 2 diabetes. Now they have to say could help. We do have actual tests and documentation proving it does help. It will reverse it. 3 men with type 2 diabetes were able to stop. Now this is out of Google. This is actually in the case study. Not me saying it. This is what was in the case study, which was done by the British Medical Journal. Okay, and what that said was they were able to stop insulin treatment altogether after intermittent fasting. Now, I mean, like I said, and how do you test it? You do a blood test. Okay, so this also was in the report. All the men were able to stop insulin treatment within a month after starting the intermittent fasting. One of the men was able to stop insulin treatment after only 5 days of the fasting technique. Now, I'm going off of my experience helping others that have type 2 diabetes. Yes, I have had this happen. I've had people blood sugar go from 180 to 190. 90, put them on our protocol. Within a week, they'll drop all the way down to 105, 110. Some have dropped down to 90 consistently in just a week's time. Now, I can't guarantee that's going to happen to everybody because it depends on how if you're really serious about lowering your type 2 diabetes or reversing the liver. Because there's a lot of components or factors involved to do this. But those that did it quickly, they were they were focused, they were consistent, they knew the side effects from having type 2 diabetes, over a long period of time. Now, in this blog post, guys, I actually listed some of the side effects, which is really bad, and you don't want to get to that point. And most Americans that have type 2 diabetes or pre-diabetes, which to me and personally, the research I'm seeing about you might as well just be a type 2 diabetic. So I think a pre-diabetic shouldn't even be in there. You're either a diabetic or you're not. Okay? But the side effects are really bad, and you guys may know. I just hope your doctor has been really honest with you and letting you guys know that this is serious. I mean, people die from this more than the COVID-19. The side effects are just incredible. But like I said, these guys, the three guys, were able to go off their insulin in a few months, and one guy was in a week. This study what this study showed, the conclusion, the study showed that the dietary intervention, therapeutic fasting. Now, what I mean by therapeutic fasting, what that means is that when you do a therapeutic fasting, you're putting yourself into ketosis, which ketosis means that that you've eliminated all of the glucose or sugar in your blood and in your liver, and you're producing what they call ketones. And ketones is the healthiest state you want to get into. Now, as soon as you eat calories or as soon as you eat some carbohydrates, then you lose the ketones. But therapeutic fasting has the potential to completely reverse type 2 diabetes, even when somebody has suffered with the disease for 25 years. I've already done this. I've already helped somebody that had type 2 diabetes for over 30 years, who've been on metformin for 9 or 10 years, who've had to have insulin and all that stuff. I mean, it changes everything about how we should treat diabetes. Now, this is where the health professionals are having issues with those other doctors or health professionals 4 or 5 years ago who have been trying to tell them they're treating their patients wrong. They're giving them medication that's not working. And if they just change what they're eating and the way they eat, the time they eat, and obviously you want to change the water also, then the results are unbelievable. And guys like Dr. Jason Fung or Dr. Boz, these guys have been doing it for a while. These ladies have been doing it for a while. And they've got tons and tons of their own research case study showing that they have reversed it. Well, now a lot of the universities and a lot of the other research journals out there or researchers are now saying, yeah, Dr. Jason Fung and Dr. Boz and these other doctors, Dr. Axe and Dr. McCullough, yeah, they're right. It works, and it's natural. And it's the only way that you're going to reverse it without any side effects, because there are no side effects. I mean, it's just that simple. And so the study shows that the dietary intervention, therapeutic fasting, this is in the study, has the potential to completely reverse type 2 diabetes, even when somebody has suffered for the disease for 25 years. It changes everything about how we should treat the disease. Dr. Jason Fung, author and the study and director of Intensive Dietary Management Program, that's what that's what the actual research is reflecting on Dr. Jason Fung's actual research. Now, he's part of the research himself. Dr. Jason Fung says type 2 diabetes can be reversed contrary to some so-called experts who say it cannot, which does not make sense. That's what he states. You guys have to realize that Dr. Jason Fung and these other doctors have been reversing type 2 diabetes and, of course, obesity. Because along with reversing type 2 diabetes and fatty liver, you're going to lose weight. And that's why it works so well on obesity to change their diets also. When they're all and they use meters they all use meters to check the glucose levels. You guys know if you have people that you know have type 2, they got to check their glucose level and their ketones. That shows that the improvement. So basically, if you change the type of food you eat and the time you eat it, and change the type of water you drink to hydrogen-rich water, which has a very, very powerful antioxidant, and the hydrogen-rich water is known to help flush out inflammation. And those of you guys know that that inflammation is the cause of all diseases. It doesn't matter all diseases. And also, hydrogen-rich water is by science, and there's actual science research showing that just by changing the type of water you're drinking also is going to help regulate blood glucose readings. I posted these researches before. You guys have seen it. I hope you've seen them. They'll be on this too. I'm going to be posting those here too. But what's crazy is that it's very simple. It's very simple if you think about it, how to reverse type 2 diabetes, how to reverse a fatty liver, how to take control of the insulin or of the hormone, and that's causing you to gain weight, especially for those you that are 40 and over, how to control your hormones that are causing you to have those carbo cravings. It's very simple. I mean, all the research are saying the same thing. It's very simple. Get off the carbohydrates. You guys that are thinking that you have to eat 3 or 4 times a day and you have to consume a certain amount of grams of carbs a day, you're wrong. You're doing it wrong. And they've proved it wrong. The standard American diet doesn't work. Okay? Primal eating or a ketogenic diet is how you're supposed to go, but most of the American public, they do it wrong because they think that, okay, a ketogenic diet means a high protein diet. That's totally wrong. It's moderate protein. It's higher dietary fat like your avocados, your olive oils, your nuts, your good dietary fats. Very moderate protein. And besides, you got to eat a whole lot of protein, more than most of you guys can eat in one sitting to have it turn into glucose. It takes an awful lot of protein. So if you're using more fat, you're going to fill up much faster. And your carbs, guys, when you're on when you're trying to reverse type 2 diabetes or a fatty liver, you got to go 20 carbs or less of vegetable carbs. You got to strictly eat your salads and vegetable carbs to stay off all the other stuff. A little hint here, you know what? First thing I do is take them off of dairy products, even dairy products, even though they're high fat. And later on, you can add the dairy products to your daily diet as your blood sugar gets down to normal, to a healthy level, to where it's consistently low. Then you can introduce more of the dairy because dairy has great fat in it. And you got to go off all the processed meats and all the crappy fish and all the crappy food. You got to go to all your meats and all your eggs and all your dairy. If you're doing dairy, has to be from pasture-raised, grass-fed animals. You're just defeating the purpose if you're going to a Stater Brothers or Albertsons or a Ralph's and buying your meat there. Sorry guys, you're just wasting your time. That's all processed. It's got crap in it. It's got junk. It's going to cause inflammation in your body because of it. I hope all you guys know it. Okay. So anyway, I really want to let you guys know that the research the research is out there. Most of your doctor, I don't, you guys can post a message if you want to me and just let me know, those of you that have type 2 diabetes or a fatty liver, or maybe you're overweight and you're trying to lose weight going through a nutritionist. Has your health professional or your doctor really explained to you the root cause of why you have the issue? And have they really talked to you about imbalanced hormones, and how they talk to you about the certain hormones that are going to help you to reverse type 2 diabetes and obesity or overweight and the fatty liver, and how to be consistent on it. And what is it going to take? Is it going to happen overnight? Absolutely not. It has to be a program. You have to be put on a program that works. Okay, and you have to follow and listen to people that are actually doing it and have decades of research proving what they're doing by blood test is working. Now, for us, Emily and I both know how continual education is vital for what we do. We want to give our clients the most newest, and truthful research out there. Emily and I have to consistently research. We got to we got to buy the new books. We got to look at the research that's in the books. Now, I don't buy a book from an individual that doesn't have, that they're not related to what they're saying, that has actual research in it. Now, what I mean by actual research, I'm not talking about blog posts. I'm talking about abstract. It's by a journal. It's published. It has a date. It has a number, and it has the word abstract, and then it goes through. And then it has the actual research, and then it has a conclusion to it. That's the research I'm talking about. And so there's basically a new book. It's just like this research here. If I didn't come on here and talk to you about this new research, you guys wouldn't have known about it. And those of you that know somebody with type 2 diabetes, you need to have them go to my Weight Loss Made Easy Solution Facebook group page and join it, because I have videos, I have downloads, and I even have fat burning recipes on that Facebook group page. And I'm going to give you these researches and the truth along with the videos and stuff like that. So it's very important that you understand why we're doing this, to educate, not just to educate ourselves, because obviously it's educating us, but to educate you about the truth, because your doctor, if he has not educated you like I am doing here and showing you the research, then he's not doing his job that he signed up for. And I have to be honest, most doctors aren't doing that. Okay, what is your doctor doing? And well, your doctor is giving you what? Medication. If you do your own research, actual do it yourself, you will learn that medication your doctor is giving you is causing more issues than good, and it's not going to reverse type 2 diabetes or a fatty liver, which means you're not going to lose the belly fat or the body fat, which means that it's going to be long-term. And I'm going to read a couple things out of this research book I have. I just got it a couple days ago, and I'm going crazy through it because there's so much new research. And actually, these are actual case studies done by real specialists who specializes in type 2 kidney issues and this and that. And so what I'm going to read to you, I'm just going to read a couple things out of here, because I just want you to know that it's not coming from me. You need to know the truth. And the only way you're going to get the truth is through people like my wife and I, Dr. McCullough, Dr. Axe, Dr. Jason Fung, Dr. Boz. There's actually some health professionals like Thomas Dellar who talks about this. I mean, there's multiple people out there that are actually getting very verbal about this, because they're fed up with these doctors that are on their pedestals that think that they know everything. And we don't, not even us. We don't know everything. That's why continual education is so important. And that's why you need to do your own research to actually take a hold of your own health. Otherwise, you're going to end up with what happened to some of these people out there. But anyway, let me read real quick a few things out of this book. Okay, scientific society and associations around the world declare in 2016 that, you guys remember the surgery where they take your intestines and they cut them out? Well, guess what? In 2016, the scientific so, Society and Association said the best way to treat type 2 diabetes, which goes along with the fatty liver or obesity, is to do what? Is to cut out the intestines, which is expensive, risky, and is the first option to do it. That's what they did. That's what they said in 2016. How to treat type 2 diabetes. Isn't that crazy? Okay, let's see here. You can't use drugs or device. Okay, this is what the researchers are saying in this book, and Dr. Jason Fung. You can't use drugs or devices to cure a dietary disease. See, that's what they're saying, guys. Type 2 diabetes, a fatty liver, and obesity is a dietary disease. That's the difference. Okay? And no medication or no device is going to reverse it. All right? Now, let's see what else they say. Diabetes is caused by our body's insulin response. Now, that's the hormone I was telling you guys about that's out of control. To chronic overconsumption of carbohydrates, and that the best and most natural way to reverse the disease is to reduce the consumption of carbohydrates. And how simple is that? You guys, really, I mean, it's that simple. Just lessen the consumption of carbohydrates. It says it right here. A low carbohydrate diet for treating obesity is not only being practiced now by hundreds of doctors and around the world, but is supported by more than 75 clinical trials conducted on altogether thousands of people. That's what I'm saying, guys. There's so many different new researches, and they're not doing it on rats or mice. They're actually doing it on people, human beings that had these issues for decades. That's like this new one here. The 3 people, they were able to get them off the insulin. Okay, so remarkably, the practice of carbohydrate restriction for diabetes dates back. This is history. Okay, and this is what most nutritionists don't know, because they're not doing the actual. You cannot learn this stuff by going to a university, you guys. It just doesn't. There's no university or college that talks to you about this. This is not what they don't teach you this. They don't teach our doctors this. Our up-and-coming doctors, they don't get taught nutrition at all. Those of us that are specializing in nutrition, that actually go to the next level, that want to know the truth, this is the only way you're going to know this is to go outside of the box and get certified with a private school that actually teaches this stuff and uses science to actually educate you guys. Okay, so practice of carbohydrate restriction for diabetes dates back more than a century, when the diet was considered a standard treatment. According to a 1923 medical text by the father of modern medicine, Sir William Alsar, I think his name is. So that's back in 1923. In all exciting recent development, clinical trial evidence specifically on diabetics is now emerging. As of this writing, at least one trial involving, now get this one, guys, at least one trial involving some 330 people is underway for the treatment of the disease with a very low carbohydrate diet. Now, what I mean by a very low is what when I'm working with a type 2 diabetic, or someone with a fatty liver, or morbidly obese, they got to be 20 grams of carbs or less per day. That's in order to really get them to see the results. And we need to get them in. We need to get those results ASAP because of the medical issues that come from being a type 2 diabetic. Now, this is what's remarkable. And like I said, this is coming out of a research book. Do you see where I have it blued out? This is to remind me to refresh myself to go back when I need to go back, okay? And so what it says here, a very low carbohydrate diet at the 1 year mark. Now, this is at the 1 year mark. So this is a long-term case study. At the 1 year mark, researchers found that some 97% of patients had reduced or halted their insulin use, and 58% no longer had a formal diagnosis of diabetes. God, that's huge, guys. I mean, come on. How can your doctor deny this research? How can they deny this study? This is their peers that are actually doing the study. I'm going to read it one more time. At the 1 year mark, researchers found that some 97% of the patients had reduced or halted their insulin use, and 58% no longer had a formal diagnosis of diabetes. In other words, those patients successfully reversed their diabetes. This is not me. This is coming. It says it right there. This is coming right. That's my blue part there. Successfully, simply. Now, I'm telling you this. That's how simple it is. But yet, the doctors make it so difficult. And you guys just, I don't know what it is, because it is that simple. Once you get those hormones under control, once you follow the protocols on how to get your body to learn how to burn fat and not sugar, once your body learns how to do that, which only takes a couple weeks, it is simple. Your cravings will start going away. It's when you get off and not consistent that you're going to get those carbohydrate or sugar cravings again. You got to be consistent. You got to have a goal. If you knew what the side effects are from your type 2 diabetes or your fatty liver or being obese, if you knew what could happen in a few years or 10 years or 20 years and saw actual pictures of people that are going through these, what they call diabetic ulcers and things, you'd be freaking out. Okay, so anyway, that is that's part of this. Is at the very beginning of this research book. Now I'm going to read the bad news, because I'm going to get going here. But you guys got to know the bad news here. Okay, so here's the bad news. Okay, now this is what the researchers are actually saying in this book. Dr. Jason Fung, you guys, is a kidney specialist who admits that 20 years ago he was treating his patients wrong, and that's why he got so involved in the high dietary fat, moderate protein, and very low carb to give to his patients to reverse type 2 diabetes, obesity, because the medication he was giving his patients, it wasn't working, and his patients were dying, and he admits it. He says, I treated my patients wrong. And the today's doctors that don't follow these protocols, they're treating their patients wrong too. But anyway, this is the side effects of being a type 2 diabetic, or having a fatty liver, or being obese. Because if you're obese, most likely you're a diabetic, and you are going to have some stage of fatty liver. So they're all part of the deal. But this is something you need to know, and this is the bad news, because it will happen. It will happen if you do not reverse your issues, okay? So what happens when excessive glucose piles up? Glucose is sugar, which when you're on a high carb meals and you're eating 3 or 4 times a day high carbs, that carbohydrate is being converted into glucose, which is sugar. Okay, when the glucose piles up in the body over 10 or 20 years, every cell in the body starts to rot, okay? Which is precisely what type 2 diabetes is. Unlike virtually any other disease, this disease affects every single organ. Your eyes rot and you go blind. Now, those of you that have done your research on type 2 diabetics and the side effects, you guys know that's one of the side effects. Your kidneys rot and you need dialysis. I've seen this many times when people just don't want, or when people aren't, they just don't feel like they can change their diet or their lifestyle, then that's what happens. Once you go on dialysis, you're on it for the rest of your life, guys. And I guarantee you, you don't want to get to that point. Really don't want to do that. Okay? Your heart rots and you get heart attacks and heart failure. Your brain rots and you get Alzheimer's disease. Your liver rots and you get fatty liver disease and cirrhosis. Your legs rot and you get diabetic foot ulcers. In my on my program, when somebody wants to know more about my nutritional plan to reverse type 2 diabetes or fatty liver, I have a introduction form I send them. In that form, I'm going to show them what it looks like to get ulcers, diabetic ulcers, and how bad it is. And it's almost, you guys have ever heard of MRSA? I know MRSA is a flesh-eating disease. A lot of people will get MRSA if they're in the hospital. It's a bacteria that is, a lot of times you get it in the hospital. It's kind of like, what is the other one? Anyway, it's a flesh-eating disease. Well, a diabetic ulcer, basically that's what happens, okay? You get a bacteria that, you get an ulcer and it's going to be eating up your flesh, okay? And so your legs rot and you get a diabetic foot ulcers. Your nerves rot and you get a diabetic, you get where your nerves are rotting and you get the feeling of numbness, especially in your feet. So what they state in this research thing, that a diabetes or a fatty liver affects every part of your body. No organ, no organ in your body is spared when you have type 2 diabetes. So, and right below this article here, or right below this, it says here, standard medications do not prevent the progression of organ failure because they do not help excrete the toxic sugar load. They're calling sugar, high levels of sugar in your blood or in your body, as toxic. So that just tells you that you have a very, very serious disease. And I just explained to you what the side effects of that disease is. So actually, I've got a lot of other stuff here I could probably read you. And what's crazy about this is the researchers the research that was done in this book, and they're going to have a lot of actual referring back to a lot of good, solid case studies. But they put all the bad stuff that's going to happen to you at the very beginning. So hopefully that will open your eyes to see how serious the matter is when you have type 2 diabetes. Now, coming to the conclusion of this video, guys, my experience is that a lot of people, I'm just going through my research here just for a second. And see, I just want to make sure that I've said everything I need to say. I've got pictures here. I've got the research here. I've got one thing. Okay, one thing I have to stress before I stop here is that I'm not a doctor. This is my disclaimer that I like to say at the end of my videos. I'm not a doctor. All information given has been gathered by personal experience and information that I researched. My wife and I have researched and compiled over 40 years. Always consult a physician before starting a new dietary program, eating regimen, and workout plan. You guys know me that most doctors don't know about any of that anyway, but I have to say it in order to be in the legal realm, I guess. The nice thing is that the reason why I think I haven't been attacked really yet is because I do like to list scientific research with each one of my blogs that I do or my videos. I like to, so it's, I mean, it's actual research. It's so they can't really deny it. It's the truth. It's posted for everybody else to research. But I just don't, I don't understand. I have some clients that I've gotten, and when I interview a client to be put on a program, I interview them first to see if we mix. I mean, I don't want to waste their time. I don't want them to waste my time. If they're not really serious about reversing type 2 diabetes or reversing fatty liver, and if they don't want to, I mean, if they're looking for a quick fix way of doing this, then I'm not, it's not going to work for them. This is long term. Yes, we do want to set short goals. It takes about 12 weeks to find the protocols that work for them by monitoring their blood and by monitoring their insulin levels and your glucose levels and your ketone levels. But you're going to have to give yourself a minimum of 12 months, if not longer, to actually really root yourself in fat burning and really root yourself in losing the excess body fat and reversing it. Now, of course, those out there that are, I'm telling you, the ones that are super focused, I've got one young lady right now that's very focused on reversing type 2 diabetes. She's gone, she went from way up high on her blood sugar, and now she's below 100 most of the time now. And what she's been kind of playing around with it, finding out that finding out that some things that she's eating is causing her blood sugar to go up, realizing that your blood sugar needs to be consistent below 100, and before that can actually happen, you've got to stay consistent for 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, sometimes 8 months on a good protocol and keep it consistent to get your blood to be consistently below 100. Once you do that, then the results are phenomenal, and the byproduct is always weight. She's lost, I think she dropped like 3 or 4 dress sizes in just a short 12 or 13 months. And so, but her blood, but we're not, I don't really care about the weight right now because I already know that's going to come off eventually. I just want to make sure they get their blood sugar at a safe level consistently all the time and lay a platform out for them so they can do it the rest of their life, because you can. And once you get rooted in fat adaptation, is how we call it, fat adaptation, once you get rooted in it consistently, then you can enjoy some of the comfort foods out there. Or like for me, last night I had my daughter-in-law makes a phenomenal baked tacos. I mean, she knows we're on a certain way of eating, but man, when I know she's making those, there's no way I'm going to say no. No way. So what did I do? I had 3 of them big suckers, really good ones. So today I decided I'm going to do a 23-1. I fast for 23 hours. I don't know, probably about 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning, this morning, or 3, somewhere around there. I already burned up all the glucose that I ate from that food. So from 3 o'clock on until 6 o'clock tonight, I'm actually burning my body fat. And that's how Emily and I are able to keep our leanness, keep our body fat down at an old age or senior. So there's no excuse, guys. But anyway, guys, I just hope that this video will give you some insight on if you know somebody that has type 2 diabetes or a fatty liver, or who is obese and who has not gotten checked for fatty liver or type 2 diabetes. Share this video with them. They need to understand how important it is. On this video, in the description section, will be my blog post that you can click on. It's WordPress, and it'll actually have some of the science that I was talking about. And then you can also go to my Weight Loss Made Easy Solution Facebook group page. Join it. You can even ask questions in that Facebook group. But that way, if you have questions, I'll try to answer them for you, and I'll try to back them up with the science. But in that Facebook group, you've got downloads there with some research and stuff there too. Or you can also go to my YouTube channel, type in Bill Mabry, subscribe to it, and there's my training videos on there too. So, but anyway, if you want to know more about my nutritional program that we offer, like I said, I think my niche now is basically pretty much going to be helping to reverse type 2 diabetes, a fatty liver, and then of course weight loss all falls into place. But the CDC was saying that 30 million people now have type 2 diabetes in the United States, including young kids. Now remember, type 2 diabetes used to be an adult disease. Now it's more and more kids. If you research it, it's an epidemic. They even say here, I think it says it right here. Okay, I think it says it right here that, okay, it does say it. Okay, it says here, diabetes has gone from rarity to an epidemic. So that just shows you, and this research book is basically pretty new. It's only been out on the market, I think, for 6 months or a year, something like that. And it's actually going to be my reference for science. I'm going to actually, I'm going to have to go through it a couple times. But anyway, guys, hope you saw some value in this. Hope you pass this on to your friends and family members that have issues like this. And like I said, message me if you want to know more information about my program that I do offer, that Emily and I offer. So I hope you guys enjoyed this, and we will see you guys. Let's see, it's 4:26. I will break my fast in about 20 minutes, and that'll give me my 23 hours. And like I said, I'll break it with kefir. I no longer get hunger waves in between. I mean, when I do long fasting, because I am fat adapted. That's the key thing. Okay, guys, hope you guys enjoy the day. We'll see you guys in the next video. Have a good one.